Hello, hello, hello! Welcome to my Crystal walkthrough. I'm DeoGenZ, in another accent, of course. And I'm going to speak this way the whole time, really. I don't see why not, you know. It's something I can do. It's something I really don't do often. I don't know why. It's just a matter of the fact it doesn't have a name, really. If this accent, you know, perhaps its name was Earl. It could be something for the future, keep that in mind. But Earl, you know, my buddy Earl, he's having a visitation on my walkthrough. That's what it would be like. So what's the point of this video and why am I speaking this way? It's not to insult anybody who has this kind of accent. Really, it's a term of endearment. I've mentioned it in other past walkthroughs. I love the British accent. There's so many variations of it too. I mean, if I just take it a little higher pitch, I could start sounding like John Lennon, start preaching peace, talk a little slower, I suppose, because he was a bit lackadaisical due to the LSD and Mary Jane, you know what I mean. But I'm not going to do that. No, not really. I'm going to speak like this, and the funny thing is, you wouldn't believe it, I often accidentally pull out this accent in regular life. I'll be like, oh really, do tell! And they'll be like, what the fuck you just say to me? I thought, are you messing with me? And I'm saying, no, not at all. I'm kind of really just bonkers. And they gotta go with it too, because I am bonkers. Otherwise, why would I talk to myself and play video games, you know? It's simple psychology. But anyway, we're taking on some kind of psycho Pokemon ourselves, the Psychic type. The Psychic type is interesting. It's very nice that in the second generation they had a counterpart for it, the Dark types. It kind of lets you think that the Psychic types are some sort of light being, but they're not. Alright, I tell you, they're very much not. One time I was watching... Oh! Speak of the devil! One time I was watching the anime, right? Season 1, when shit was good. And a giant Alakazam popped out of the ground, or popped out of somewhere. I don't remember where. He popped out of something. And he was most malevolent, not even to mention Sabrina's Pokemon, the Psychic Gym Leader. She seems pretty evil too. I don't know. I get bad vibes off of her, but maybe she's just stringent. Oh, Mommy's calling! Hello! Hi, darling! I went shopping today and bought an adorable doll with your money. I'm sorry! It's in your room. I hope you love it. See? Not another variation. Another variation onto the wonderful British accent. I don't know, maybe it's just me getting in tune with my long passed away roots, right? Because in theory, right, this whole thing wouldn't have happened if we didn't come from England, the white folks, I mean. But really, it's not my descent, because I'm Italian. So, yeah, them's the breaks. I've kind of... my descent is coming in on a boat as an immigrant, or at least my grandparents did. Of course, I didn't do that kind of sort of thing. I just really popped out of my mom's uterus and said, hey, I'm here, I'm DeoGenZ. Get me a microphone, get me a recorder, and let's play some Pokemon. But that's how I came to be. I don't know about you, but really, it must have been interesting going through Ellis Island and whatnot, having your name changed. I guess it's sort of like what I did for myself, you know, not really putting my real name up on the internet just because I don't want people stalking my family. You know, that Ray William Johnson song, stalking your mom, or your pop, or your brother. I didn't want any of that, so my name had to be something different. But it must be a bummer. You don't really have a choice when you go through Ellis Island. They're just like, oh, your name is Fred now. I didn't really care what your history was all about and what the treasury of that name was for. Sorry, you're Fred. Ugh. Well, that's awful. The only good part of that is that there's a popular guy on YouTube named Fred, but I doubt I'll get any hits off of that. That's another interesting thought. Popularity off of somebody else because you've got the same name. People do it all the time on Twitter, and it's very annoying. Thankfully, I'm not so popular. Really, in the grand scheme of things, I'm very, very low in the popularity scale, so nobody has tried to impersonate me. The good thing is also, if they do impersonate me, you know what to do. You just say, if you are the real DeoGenZ, let me hear those accents. And if the fool can't Or if he can, then he's a great doppelganger. But if he can't, he's rubbish, and you will know it's not me. Alright, that Poliwag guy, he pwned my ass. He's not really a Poliwag guy, he only had Goldines and Sea Kings. So I took a stop at the Pokemon Center, did a cut, and he wants my number, but I do not want to sleep with him, so we're moving on. Because that's the only reason you exchange numbers these days, right? I tell you, you really don't need numbers anymore. You've got Facebook, and you've got Twitter, and YouTube, and you could just say, look me up on this field here, visit me on this interweb. But a number, that's more personal. That's like, I'm gonna call you directly, and when you answer the phone, expect to blow me. That's kind of what we're saying. In a way, not really. Still, people use numbers. Grandparents use numbers. Again, the old people, mentioning them. But they do. They're stuck in the past. They're not in the internet, so I don't think grandparents all the time are changing numbers for blowjobs. Although they could. They very well could. You know, maybe they need some service. After all these years on Earth, shit's getting boring. They thought, why not spice it up? Let's get a hooker. Let's see what happens. I don't care if I get AIDS at this point. I'm half 1 foot in the grave, half out of it. And quite frankly, it's hurting my back. The lower lumbar support of 1 foot in the grave and 1 foot out is just not working. I'd rather have all of the feet in the grave and fuck the surface, you know? Who needs that shit? It's for the living. And I'm beyond living at that point. Rhyhorn, you are a devious Pokemon. You trick me. You trick me all the time. I used to think that was a really rare Pokemon, but not really. It's quite common. It's interesting how they do that in all Pokemon games. You know, they make certain types seem elusive, like you know, Lotads. Hell, Lotads are very elusive in Black and White in the Unova region. But over in Hoenn, they're everywhere. You can't skip through the pond without stepping on a Lillipad that is a Lotad. So it's really dependent on location. And no, you can't find any of those Rhyhorns now, so I guess for Crystal, it's somewhat rare. But once we get into Victory Road, and I'm looking off to the side, not at what I'm doing, but my cat is trying to tear... Hey, you! You piece of shit! Bollocks! Get off of there! Oh, God. Anyway, this is where you can find Lickitung. Speaking of other rare Pokemon that you can't find right now, but you can find these. Lickitung and Tangela, I believe, are out here. And if I'm mistaken, then go to the beginning of this video, pause it, and take a look for yourself, yeah? I mean, that's what I do this thing for. It's a walkthrough, you know, it's supposed to be... You're an asshole. I'm telling you right now, you cat are an asshole. I don't have anything else to throw at you right now, and my computer's on my lap. Oh, you shithead. Whatever, it wasn't mine anyway, what you were tearing apart. I guess I shouldn't care. You're ruining the episode. I mean, I can't even take a little bit of a camera, because by the time I get a camera on him, he stopped doing it, the little shithead. Anyway, he's a twat. Who needs him? Yeah. You get those Lickitungs, Tanglers, you get to check the Pokemon that we explore, the routes we explore ahead of time by that little continuation sequence right after the intro. So it goes intro, sequence of what Pokemon you can find on this route, and then we start the main walkthrough. It's jolly, and if you need extra time because you think the continuation thing is just too damn short, then pause the damn video, you know? Everybody forgets they got a pause button. Nobody's keeping your fingers off the keys or off the mouse when you're watching videos, mate. If you need to turn up the volume, turn it down, because my voice is too ridiculous, and I understand that. I definitely do. Don't even think about it. Don't chew on these wires. Beat it. Oh, God. I'm going to throw that cat against the wall. I swear. He's just going around chewing shit. He's chewing boxes. He's like, oh, cardboard. What's in here? Let me open it up with my teeth and claws. And then he's finding some clothes, and he's tearing the shit out of them. And then he comes walking over, all jauntily, like, hey. Oh, not jauntily, sorry. Gingerly, that's the wrong term. Jauntily. I don't even know if that's a word. Gingerly, he comes walking over. He's like, oh, these wires? You want me to chew them, right? No, not so much. Not even a little bit, you little twat. But, hey. You can find Lickitungs here. Lickitung's an awesome Pokemon. Team Rocket had a Lickitung. I guess that's like Legend of Zelda's Link, but with a really long tongue. Link-a-tongue, go! Use the Master Sword. Actually, screw it. Take the Master Sword, put it in your tongue, and go slash up some enemies, because you know what? With that long Link-a-tongue of yours, you can attack enemies at farther distances apart, so it's a good benefit. Good benefit of having that. Good trainers insist on battling other tough opponents. And this is true. This is very true. Sybil. That sounds like something out of the Bible, but I wouldn't know anything about that. Being agnostic and all these things, and beforehand being atheist, had to switch my position there. Really, I did, because it was ignorance. Atheism, it seemed to be, to me at least. I would listen to some of these lecturers. I listen to a lot of people, lot of intelligent people, because I don't watch television. I don't. It's mind-numbing garbage. It's rubbish. I cannot take it at all. So I listen to a lot of intelligent speakers, a lot of physicists, a lot of scientists. But one of the people I listen to who are not so intelligent and who kind of pushed me away from atheism, I don't even remember his goddamn name, that's how shitty he was as a speaker, it was this atheist head leader. Like, there should be such a fucking thing, an atheist head leader. The whole idea of atheism is that you're not grouping yourself up as a bunch of people. You're saying, I'm an individual, I've got my own thoughts, and I don't believe in your God. I don't believe in any God at all. I don't see the proof, so why should I believe in it? Why should I? You know, it's belief on empirical data, and that's a good scientific stance to take it on, and that was the stance I had, especially when I was listening to a character like Richard Dawkins, you know, very intelligent, great biologist, great scientist, has achieved a lot in science, not just talking out against religion, but this fucking poser, all he did was talk out against religion like, oh, it's bullshit, but hey, come to our gang and buy our t-shirts that says atheism pwns, or whatever the fuck his little slogan was. And I'm saying to myself, that's even worse, because now you're saying we don't only not believe, and we're adamant against it. You know, we're very, very stubborn pieces of shit, really. We're not going to hear you on your religion. We're not even going to consider that it does some good, which it does. I mean, for all the falsities and all the control that has been enacted in religion just for the sake of the church, it does give people a lot. It gives them a lot in their lives, and I've seen it be a great, powerful propulsion force into marvelous things for some people. For me, not really, because I just never believed in it. But if you believe, the power of your mind is mightier than you would imagine. And that's the funny thing, it's really your mind that's doing it. You're playing mind games on yourself. But after listening to that twat, I was like, this is rubbish. This is just not even true. You know, I don't know that there's a God, and it's ignorant for me to say that I do know. Alright, I've got no evidence. Oh, well, I've got a lot of evidence against it, at least the traditional sense of what God is to most people. Sure, I've got plenty of evidence against that. But you got to keep in mind, absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. That's the truth, and that's the logical reasoning for me being agnostic. I just don't know, and anybody who acts like they do know and adamantly says against religion no, they're posers, really. They don't know what the hell they're thinking, or they do, maybe. They think they know what they're thinking, but it's poorly thought out. It's not a good reasoning process. I could tell you from taking logic in college, it's not a good reasoning process, because you're just creating your own religion of no. No, there's nothing, there can't be, you go in the dirt, you're done, you're recycled by the earth, it just eats you the fuck up, there's nothing after, there's nothing before. Alright, that's fine. Maybe I could agree with that for a little bit. But what happens to consciousness? What happens to consciousness when we fade? It must go somewhere. Or, who knows? I don't know. Are we a receptor for consciousness? That's another theory I've also been looking into for a while now. Are we receptors for consciousness? And what that really means is, are we kind of like these poles walking around, mobile poles, and out in the ether somewhere there's this great big collective conscious, and this collective conscious can be tapped into at any time by people, and it can influence their thoughts, it can change patterns of behavior, and of course it can dictate what you do in life. Is there such a thing like that? I don't know. Would you call that a Gaian mind? Maybe. But again, I cannot be sure that there is no creator. I'm under the impression, really, that this is just one giant game. This is just one giant simulation and we are just poorly rendered out pixels. I say we're poorly rendered out only because we really have not done a well job at keeping this shit up. Really, our planet is in great distress, and everything aside, religion aside, politics aside, economics aside, that's what really matters. If we're fucking up the world we're living on, we're not going to be living on it much longer, eh? There's something people don't really think about. They kind of just go about ignoring it, throwing their wrappers wherever they do please, going through drive-thrus saying, hey, I'll take the Mickey D's, and I don't really care about factory farming and the main effect of it all, the big, larger effect of it all. Well, guess what? It's all connected, and it's all going to fall simultaneously if we don't get our shit together. But speaking about getting our shit together, just went cut to the Pokemon Center there. We're getting our shit together, really, for the next gym battle, and that's going to be with a Dragon Trainer. We haven't seen much of the Dragon type in the Johto region. They're very limited, very rare, and come to think of it, was there any new Dragon type besides Kingdra introduced in the second gen? I'm trying to mull over, because often I fuck this up. Often I say there's no such thing of this when there's many instances, or at least one of it. So, I don't know. More than Kingdra, I can't put a finger on it. Tyranitar, is not a dragon. It looks like it could be. He's terrifying. Some kind of bipedal T-Rex type caricature, which makes me think, on a side note, has there been a T-Rex Pokemon? I know we've had a Pachycephalosaurus, that's those head-butting dinosaurs, right, in a form of a Rampardos in 4th gen, but have we seen a T-Rex? I don't think so. I guess you could consider Bastiodon as being a Triceratops, possibly, but those Pokemon are not in this game, so you won't have to worry about it. But what you do want to start collecting now is Ice types. Ice types, lots and lots of Ice types. Luckily, you just went and caught Suicune in the past episode, so you can use that new powerful legendary to your aid. Teach it Aurora Beam, or Ice Beam, or Blizzard, something of that nature, and blow away, blitzkrieg the competition in a blizzard. That's what you can do. For dragons, it's super effective. And thankfully, in the next episode of my Pokemon Crystal walkthrough, when I'll revert back to my normal tongues, I have a feeling people are getting sort of irritated with this, wanting me to just speak the fucking normal way I do. Thing is, I've got many normal ways of speaking, I just haven't figured out which one suits me best, and right now, the answer to that paradoxal question is all of the above, so deal with it. But what you won't have to deal with is this meagerly slow battle. I mean, painstakingly slow, anything ridiculous like that. I know that for the most part we now witness Pokemon battles at normal speed, and that's because of the partnership and all these things and allowing me to do this sort of thing with unlimited time. But does not mean I have to subject you to torment of boring battles that don't go anywhere. So, make sure you stock up on Ultra Balls if you're not willing to use a legendary. I know a lot of people, including myself, have a policy of not using legendary Pokemon when it comes to using it in gyms and in Elite Four matches, even in trainer battles, because they see it as a waste of experience points, which I agree with. So get lots of Ultra Balls and prepare in the next episode for when we explore the ice path. Yes, many icy types for you to choose from. Maybe not many, just several, but it's enough, and it's what you need to take down the next gym leader. So I'll see you there.